Hello, I'm here in Andorra and I'm lucky enough to be joined by Vicent from Meteorcat. One thing I really wanted to talk to you about was the recent event we saw in Valencia, the Dana, the cut-off low. Can you tell me what causes that and how common they are?
Yeah, it's a phenomenon that is quite common in mid-latitudes all around the world, in fact, but in the Mediterranean, when it appears, especially in autumn, it finds a very warm Mediterranean, and then there is a sort of coupling between the atmosphere and the Mediterranean Sea, and it has the potential of produce this huge amount of precipitation, in fact torrential precipitation, and as in the case of the Dana of last year in Valencia country, we have observed almost 800 millimeters in less than 12 hours, which is incredible.
And so obviously it was very difficult for people to cope with that amount of rainfall and flooding in such a short space of time. The warning systems, some people flagged that up as maybe not being quite as quick as it could have been.
Yeah, the warning system, in fact, didn't work at all, because we have to take into account that in this event and in other historical events, we have a sort of, it is the case of flash floods. So the area most affected by floods, they don't receive any precipitation. So people didn't be aware of the risk, and the local government play a bad role, in fact, in that emergency situation.
Yeah, and obviously the areas that flooded may have flooded in the past, but this time there's a lot more infrastructure, more housing, more building.
Yeah, you are right, Kirsty, because this area experienced in the 80s 2 cases of also torrential precipitation. In fact, there was a case where a dam was completely destructed for this cut-off law in the 1982. And this case is comparable with the previous ones, but the problem is that during 90s and the first decade of the 21st century, this area has expanded a lot in terms of buildings, industrial complexes, and other infrastructures, and the impact is greater because there are more people living in that area.
And would you say there's also a bit of climate change at play as well? Is that having an effect?
It's difficult to make an attribution, and you have to take into account that it is a very recent event, and I'm sure that in the future will appear studies that try to see what degree of contribution has this climate change. But it's important to know that this area has previously impacted by this sort of event. So it's not just climate change, maybe it plays an important role, but it's not only climate change.